performance indicates. Here at 888 Race Engineering, Team Vodafone, Jamie Whincup on the job here at the moment, getting ready. Pretty happy. Let the track come to him. He didn't change the car at all through the course of the session. As the track began to rubber up, his car got faster and faster. In fact, there's an interesting read from a variety of different people as to whether or not it was the wind, whether it was the traffic, or what the issues were. But certainly the conditions changed as the session unfolded. And Craig Lowndes' car, number 888, he will start from position 6. The track condition fooled CL just a little bit, and he called for too many changes at the rear of the car. Remember that fantastic shot that looked great for us on television. Problem is, that makes the car slow, so they've had to back off some of those changes and return the car to normal. So here's how the contenders will start. Rick Kelly from pole position, his teammate Garth Tander from position 7, Jamie Whincup from position 3, and the man whose car is right behind me here at the moment, Craig Lowndes, will start from position 6. And incidentally, Garth Tander has adopted Rick Kelly's settings for this race to try and make a better race car.
All right, Cromley, thanks very much. Interesting scenarios. Nobody getting ahead of themselves here, of course, but we can give you a heads up for the first round of 2008, the Clipsal 500, of course. Check out the website if you'd like to get hold of tickets, or you can phone 131-246, the 10th anniversary of the Clipsal 500. The pressure is certainly building here. They've been saying, by the way, that this is the championship lately, that nobody wants to win. Let's see what the contenders think about that.
Oh, it's a crazy suggestion, to be honest with you. And I think, you know, the only thing that I think we've got to hang our hat on at the moment is the fact that we haven't made any serious mistakes out on the track that have cost us championship positions.
I can assure you that all of us want to win it. It's not that we're trying not to, but you know, it's just been one of those crazy years. We've all been up and down, and we've all had mixed results, and now's the time to put a solid weekend together and score a bag load of points.
Oh, look, everyone has bad weekends. We all say that from the start of the season. You just got to limit those bad weekends.
Although it looks like on the outside that we've had a brain fade here and there and we're all over the place, trust me, that's not the case. We're on the limit, and when you're that close to the limit, mistakes happen. And I had a lot of mistakes in Bahrain. Garth had a few mistakes last weekend. Who knows what's going to happen this weekend?
Quite a few times this season we've asked the question, how are your nerves? How do you reckon the four guys are feeling? The four title contenders. There's one on the front row, his name's Rick Kelly. There's one on the second row, his name is Jamie Whincup. There's one on the third row, Craig Lowndes. And there's another one on the fourth row, and that is Garth Tander. The start of this race will be such a nerve-wracking experience, not only for these guys who have to try and remain focused and in some ways forget about the bigger picture, but also the team. Here's the circuit. It's a ripper.
4.5 kilometres of fantastic racing circuit, this one, and 10 corners, characterised by a heap of medium and high-speed corners, predominantly left-handers. Big punishment for the right-hand side of the car, and a couple of very slow corners, and one that's an absolute ripper. It's turn 6. We call it Hayshed, inverted commas, but it's a great corner. There's no room left on the outside of the car. On a couple of occasions over the years, we've seen big incidents here, people rolling over, or two cars trying to run side by side like Mark Scaife and Craig Lowndes last year. That does not work. Massive speed through the mid-corner. They build up to 220-odd Ks in fifth gear by the time they get up to Lukey Heights. If you pick up the inside ripple strip just like Stephen Richards did then, a car bounces. If you're an inch too far wide of the apex, you run out of road here and you go barrelling up through the grass and nail signs and do all sorts of things. But overwhelmingly, you're seeing a V8 Supercar teetering at the brink of its grip level there. And it is spectacular, and the drivers work very hard, so that's an area that we'll focus on through the course of the race. They'll carry 80-odd litres for this race. Maximum potential in the tank's 120. They'll get rid of about 2.8 litres per lap. This is the championship scenario. 7 points is the margin between Whincup and Tander. Lowndes is 21 points off the lead. Rick Kelly mathematically still a chance, and you can't do a better job than jumping out of the blocks from pole position for this first of 3 races this weekend, Matty, when you know, when you're down at 4th place in the order.
Yeah, it's been that way, hasn't it? It's just been extremes over the last couple of rounds. What about this guy?
Yeah, just want to make a point about this. Notice that there's no middle console in the car. It's a great shot for us to look at. It's all new architecture inside this car. They've lowered the centre of gravity in the car. They've made a lot of changes to the roll cage structure, and when Scafie said he sits in the thing, it feels quite weird because he's got all this space around him, and there's a little electronic brain on the floor there provided by PI Industries from the UK, and it makes, just catching a glimpse of it there at the moment, it makes the decisions that Mark would normally make to toggle switches on and off in the cockpit, so it has an intelligent management system in it. Rob Starr and Sweno in the window there just talking about the performance of the car. Mark Winterbottom, well, he's going to be a contender for sure.
So here we go for the Fuso Grid race 1 of round 14, the 35th race of the 2007 series. Rick Kelly and Mark Scaife side by side. If you've just joined us, Mark Scaife carrying number 200, which correlates with the amount of championship starts he now has. There's Jamie Whincup, the leader of the title race. He's alongside Todd Kelly. Jason Richards, the Tasman Motorsport car number 3, putting in a great performance. He's alongside Craig Lowndes. And there's Garth Tander, who has Mark Winterbottom to deal with from positions 7 and 8, with Russell Ingall driving for the last time for Stone Brothers Racing and for Ford. He's moving on, being released from the final year of his contract with the Blue Oval to move on for next season. He's gone ahead of his teammate James Courtney there. And there's Jason Bright, who's still throwing punches. Probably can't wait for this year to end, but still throwing punches. Greg Murphy and Shane Van Gisbergen, the young Kiwi, has posted his best qualifier of this year and therefore his career.
Shane Price and Paul Morris will share 17 and 18. Morris off to a tough start in practice yesterday with a wiring loom drama with that car, kept him off the racetrack for a while. Cam McConville together with Paul Dumbrell, last run for Super Cheap Auto Racing. They'll start down the order a little at the moment. Steve Owen unfortunately qualifying, running a little wide off the road down there. Andrew Jones and Jason Bargwana, Team BOC and WPS. A couple of other fellas that are also having lasts include John Bow, 225th championship start. I'm not 100% convinced that we won't see him again in an Enduro. I keep teasing him about it, but in terms of full-time drives, it's goodbye for now for John Bow in V8 Supercar competition after an extraordinary innings. We look down the order here: Owen Kelly, Paul Dumbrell, Simon Wills and Alan Gurr will start from position number 31.
JB, 22 years. Can you believe it? I think he's just waiting to be asked the question for the Enduros, because I know what the answer's going to be.
A yes in a heartbeat. We've had various race durations over the last several years at this particular round. Last year we had 32 lap races. The year prior it was 23 lap races, so this one sits in the middle, a 27 lapper. As I've said a couple of times, it's 360 kilometres of racing to run through until tomorrow afternoon. The interesting things about this racetrack is that because of the long nature of the corners around here, they don't spend, despite its very high speed, very long at 100% throttle, only about 38% of the lap. And isn't this an awesome shot when you look down to Bass Strait? Bit of a southerly blowing, it's picked up through the course of the day.
Well, guys, had a good chat to Rick Kelly just before this race, and I've never seen him so relaxed and so happy. Big contrast to where he was last year, carrying the weight of the world coming into the final round at Phillip Island. But he feels that he is out of contention as far as the championship goes. Now, mathematically, we know that's not the case, but that's just the headspace that he's in at the moment, and thus he's a little bit more relaxed and very comfortable up on front on pole position. Might explain his good form so far this weekend.
Yeah, well, Brett's another bloke who's pretty happy along pit lane, and sharing the front row honours is Mark Scaife. He's debuting a brand new car. You know, things must be pretty good in the HRT garage. He's relaxed. He spent most of the time between the races watching his old mate and teammate Jim Richards take out the Touring Car Masters. He was an interested onlooker. Just a quick update on the weather too, guys. 31 degrees track temp. It's up 4 degrees, so a lot of the teams taking pressure out of those tyres. Cold PSI about 21, 22 for the start of this one.
That was Cam McConville we just saw, and here is Tander going through the processes. I tried to tap in the other day to his emotional state of mind. He would not give anything away. Jamie Whincup, he's pretty relaxed. And it comes off the back of realising that already he's had a stellar year. He's had easily his best performance of his career. And as Mark Beretta mentioned, this guy here, look at the eyes, the focus, yet there is a sense of relaxation about Rick Kelly. Mathematically, we're right, he's in it. He's only 48 points behind. 24 points maximum per race, 3-race weekend. But be the last time for a while too that we have a sprint round here, because next year it becomes the home of the 500.
And that's going to be interesting in itself. It means that we return in some respects to the wonderful origins of the race that we now have at Mount Panorama, 500k race around this venue. Great racetrack and passionately enjoyed by, I think, just about every driver out there. Very different in its nature and character to most of the other tracks that we go to through the year.
Steering straight down Bass Straight. Wind has picked up. It's right on the nose of the car. It makes it difficult when you get around to turn 4 and it's right on the rear of the car.
You can really feel it too. It does make a substantial difference to the behaviour of the car, particularly wing cars, open wheel cars around here suffer substantially. Mark Winterbottom incidentally grabbing this year's pole award with 4 wins. Gareth Tander and Todd Kelly 3 apiece. Third of the field now set into place. This will be the 35th race of the 2007 championship season. It's been a long, grueling one. A lot of very tired race mechanics in particular. That run from September right through to this weekend, it's just an endless mission of build and rebuild.
You don't have to remind them either that round 1 starts mid-February. What are you doing for Christmas? Sleeping for a day and then we're back working for the cars. There's Jamie Whincup. He must feel a little bit boxed in, regardless of his frame of mind, because he's got Rick Kelly and Mark Skaife in front of him, Todd Kelly beside him, and directly behind him, Jason Richards. So here we go. It's all come down to this weekend. The championship weekend here at Phillip Island. Race 1 underway. Mid-pack scrambling. What's going on at the front? Rick Kelly looks solid. Mark Skaife hovering on the inside. Whincup takes that position. Position 3 comfortably into turn 2. Little bit of trouble for Jason Richards, but he got back onto the road.
Whincup just backed out of it a little in turn 1 and had a bit of a rethink there. It looked like he was going to be awkwardly positioned. He decided it was better to grab the spot that he had than try and grab another. Stephen Richards awkward there on the outside.